Ziauddin and, and Dr. Jainab Jarina for their valuable speech. So, for the first session concerns how to incorporate ethical principles in AI development and deployment, which will be presented by Dr. Ziauddin. The second session will be presented by Zainab and Zarina, which will give an overview of privacy laws and best practices for protecting sensitivity data. Okay, so first we'll have a short biography for Dr. Ziauddin. So, Dr. Ziauddin currently working as an assistant professor in BS Abdur Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai. So, he has completed his master degree in commerce from the New College under Madras University, Tamil Nadu, Chennai, and also completed his MPhil degree from the same institution. He has also secured a PhD degree in commerce from Alagappa University. He has more than 10 years of experience in both teaching and research. He has also created his own blog for updating any views, articles, and his publications. He has also published research papers in reputed journals. He has also participated in and presented papers in various international journals. He has published a book chapter and a research paper in UGC CARE and Scopus journals also. He has been awarded and appreciated by BS Abdur Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology for conducting and coordinating various value-added courses organized by IIT Bombay. He has also completed a 6-week online course titled Workspace for Communication, organized by IIT Madras, and a 4-week online course titled Digital Marketing, conducted by Intenshala. He has also guided 2 PhD scholars and more than 50 UG and 6 PG students. Additionally, he has coordinated the value-added courses and prepared class-wise and faculty-wise timetables through FET software. So, I welcome you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
The session
Once
is
again, I'll
yours. You
join.
can take over the session. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, the time. Sir, 5 minutes, sir. I just joined. Some network
Okay.
issues. Yes. This is audible, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible.
Yes, sir. Just a moment. Sir, wait. Sir, can you please allow the screen, sir? The host is not allowing.
Your screen is visible, sir.
Sir, thank you.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. This is very sorry, ma'am. This is for the network issues on my side. This is for 5 minutes late. Just good evening to all. Just my topic is key issues and data privacy related to AI model. Um, Actually, in the digital era, the personal data has become incredibly valuable commodity. So everyone has to know about it. So the vast amount of data generated and shared online daily have enabled in businesses as well as government and organization. So they have to gain new insights and make better decisions. However, this data also contains the sensitive information so that individuals may not want to share or organization have a user without their consent. Or the consent is also required. So that is where privacy comes in. So the privacy is the right to keep the personal information is the confidential and free from unauthorized access. So it is an essential human right for it to ensure the individual have a control over the personal data. So personal data is very important for nowadays. So we just nowadays is full and full online is there. So we have to maintain the privacy means is must for that have to just ensure that control over the personal data and how it is used. So today privacy is more important than ever, and the amount of personal data collected and analyzed continues to grow. So the privacy is crucial for the variety of reasons for it. For one, it protects from individuals from harm, such as identity theft, reason or fraud like that. So it also helps to maintain their individual autonomy and control over the personal information. So you have to just control the personal information. You have to just very careful about that. There is no harm under, there is no identity theft under or fraud activities like that, and control over the personal information. So it's essential for the personal dignity and respect. So furthermore, privacy allows the individuals to maintain the personal and the professional relationship without fear of surveillance or interference. So everyone has a just professional also in personal life also. So they are just not at all they take without there is no fear in that for whatever transaction they are done in for online, and also they're using some in their, for example, they're making online order like that. So nowadays there is a fear for everyone because they have to collect the data. And there is a problem for everyone like that. So the relationship without fear means that is a professional as well as personal relationship is also good. So nobody can worry about that. They just share the data with anyone. So in the context of AI, artificial intelligence, the privacy is essential to achieve that. So AI systems are not used to manipulate the individual. So nowadays AI system is implemented like that. They discriminate against them based on the personal data. So AI system is relies on the personal data to make decision about must be transparent. So it's all visible to her and accountable to ensure they are not making unfair or unbiased decision. So the privacy in digital era cannot be overstated like that. So it is a fundamental human right for necessary for the personal autonomy as well as protection and fairness in that. So as the AI continues to become more prevalent in our life, so we must remain vigilant in protecting our privacy to ensure that technology is used ethically and responsibly. So technology nowadays is full online technology is there. So for AI technology is there. For recording for any transaction, if they have provide some data to others. So the company is taking some employees records like that. Hospitals also they're taking some employees records like that. So what is our privacy? So how they're using our data? Whether they manipulate the data or they're having some they're taking some necessary to just to protect the data. It's all required for the AI system. So the privacy challenges in the age of AI is there. So AI technologies offers many potential benefits to all. For example, there are several distinct challenges as posted videos. So one of the primary challenges potential for AI is to use to violate the privacy. So the challenge is important for that everyone has needed from the privacy from that for using anything like that. For personal data is very important. So the data fall into the wrong hands mean what they have to use it for nefarious purpose, identity that is theft or cyber bullying. So to just avoid the things like that, they have to violate that privacy means they cannot violate the privacy like that. So this is very important challenges for nowadays. So just push the way to use and for that. So primary challenges for the using the AI to be used to violate the privacy means. So no one can believe that they are not doing something wrong to that something someone like that. To actually the issues on the bias and discrimination like that. To solve the important notes from many AI systems rely on data make decision like that. So the data come from variety of sources, online activity, as well as social media post and public record. So the data may seem in a case first to reveal a lot about the person's life, including the race and gender, religion, and political belief. So as a result, if the AI system is biased or discriminatory, leading to unfair or even harmful outcome for individuals, they affect a lot like that. For example, so imagine AI system so used by hiring company to screen a job application for all the candidate like that. The system is biased against women or people of color. So what is the result now? So it may use the data about the candidate's gender or race or religion wise to unfairly exclude them from consideration. There was no benefit for anyone for recording against the woman or people of color. So racism is also important like that. So they do not consider every human being is equality for all like that. So there is no religion, there is no gender-based gender priority like that. So the AI plays a major role for that. The discriminatory for unfair and harmful outcomes for the individual. So this harms the individual applicant and prepares the system inequalities in the workforce. So inequalities automatically arises whether they make it some equal partiality is there in the workplace means that it's not a right place, right place, and also it affects the individual person also. So gender wise they're affected, religion wise they're affected. So this lead to unfair and harmful outcome for the individual. So the issue of job displacement for workers. The second challenge is posed by AI technology is the potential for job loss and economic disruption. So AI system becomes more advanced nowadays. So they're increasingly capable of performing tasks that is previously done by the humans. So instead of human, AI technology are using like a robot for performing the work in a company like that. Because nowadays news also is read with using the AI technology like that. What is it things like that? This leads to job displacement, economic disruption in certain industries, and need for individuals to retain further new roles. So this affected the entire person like that job, entire life for the one personal life, for professional life is also suffer because but the issue of job loss is also connected to privacy. A number of important ways because for one thing, the economic disruption caused by the AI technology can lead to increase the financial insecurity for the workers. So when they turn like to it can lead to a situation where individuals are forced to sacrifice their privacy to make ends meet. So there is a second challenge is coming for the AI. technology. For example, imagine a worker has lost their job due to automation. So they're struggling to pay their bills and make ends meet and forced to turn to the gig economy to make money. So what is it? In order to find work, they may be required to provide personal information to a platform, as such as the location where they're working, work history, previous record, as well as rating from previous clients. This may be the necessary to find work. It is also raises a serious concerns about the privacy, as this data may be shared with the third parties or used to target ads. So over there, the issue of privacy and job loss is not just about the gig economy and also the relates to the ways in which AI technology is used in the hiring process. For example, some companies are using AI algorithm, to screen a job applicant, analyze the social media activity or online behavior. So that is not eligibility to get a to recruit the candidate like that. So we have to make a decision about the suitability for a particular role. That is not a right. That is also again for that for the employee. For example, for a single individual, they have a multiple talent, but it is not like that. They have to analyze the activity or to feel handle behavior. It's not a eligibility for to get to recruit someone like that. This is also affecting through the technology like that. This raises concerns about the accuracy of the data being used and questions about the privacy. And job applicants may not be aware of the data being collected and used in this way. So ultimately, the issue of job loss and economic disruption is caused by the AI technology is closely tied to privacy because it can lead to situation where individuals are forced to sacrifice their privacy in order to survey the changing economy. So actually, they're just so close to tied to the privacy is not important. They just want to survey the life. That is all survey in the changing economy. That's what the AI has done a lot of challenges nowadays for the privacy based. And also the 2003, the new research and survey about that 72% of Americans are concerned about how companies collect and use their personal data. Because the core of AI privacy issue often begins with data misuse. So AI system need vast amount of data to learn and improve. However, the way this data is collected can be dubious. Many times, personal information is gathered without clear consent or proper understanding from the user. It's like someone secretly taking notes about your life, where you shop, what you like, your online searches. That is unnecessary for everyone because you can search anything, you can do anything new, you can shop anything, you can do online searches for anything later and use it to make a profile about you. So, for example, you want to make an order in online, for example, search on some product like that. Automatically, they use artificial intelligence to use the pop-up notification. Whatever product you are going to search, for example, iPhone. So, the different model iPhone is coming from your side as a notification like that. So, they just capture about your profile and what you are needed, what is your online search. They can easily identify this. Not a right for that. This is a breach of trust and also, but a significant privacy invasion also. So people should have the right to know and choose what information about them is collected. So they have right to know what kind of information they collected from the people. In 2025, also the global facial recognition market is projected to reach 9.8 billion like that. Because facial recognition nowadays, the technologies like a facial recognition, is a mobile phone like that, the then analysis allow constant monitoring of individuals. They just monitor the individual activities like that. This is not limited to that high security areas, but it is also in everyday spaces like shopping malls and the streets. It feels like there is always an invisible eye watching. Someone is watching, to analyzing and recording your every move. So this level of surveillance can easily be misused by the governments or corporations to track and control the individual, what he is doing into something like that. Whatever is personal, almost privacy is almost is lost because of that facial recognition. So to track and control the individual, to push the stock threat and to personal freedom and privacy. So privacy is almost lost through that AI technology. So another example use of AI in law enforcement facial recognition technology is the technology use algorithm to match the image of people faces to database of known individual. They can identify who was a person and allowing law enforcement to identify and track the individuals in a real time. So the facial recognition technology has a potential to help law enforcement solve crimes. They just solve the crime, criminal activities like that. It is also raised concern about the privacy and civil liabilities because in some cases, facial recognition systems have been found to misidentify individual. So leading to false accusation and wrongful arrest. This happened because someone is identified is only the culprit, but he is not a real culprit. He just make identify the wrong person. false accusation and wrongful argument. This is automatically they only believing the AI technology, but they are not believing the person like that. They are just making some wrong decision leading to the false accusation and wrongful argument. What would happen on that? Someone is losing the entire life on that because of things they need some. They want to from some real person in a life. They never done anything wrong in that. Automatically, AI technology is doing some wrong thing like that because they just found the misidentified individual, wrongly identified some criminals like that. Criminal is already escaped free, identified the wrong person there. The leading to false accusation and wrongful arrest. This is also the challenges from the nowadays through the AI technology. So the AI system can be like a black boxes, so complex and opaque because the lack of transparency in the how these systems are work and make decisions in a significant privacy country. People are often in the dark about what data about them being used and what kind of data they are used. The lack of understanding the control over the personal data is unsettling. So imagine not knowing what denied. Sometimes they denied by their own because they already captured the data about the entire thing like that. They denied the loan and flagged at the airport also. They identified the person is something wrong. They can analyze the data like that, or they need some beneficial loan on that. That is also denied by the bank because of they collected the personal data about how much earning. So what is the current condition? What is it, the situation? Everything they are making like. So that is not a right for the person. They need something benefit like that. So the control over the personal data is unsettling later. The denied the loan has collected the airport also they face some problem because of the AI system hidden workings. So that is a protection against privacy, which called that law enforcement and security agencies must be transparent because about when how these systems are used, and individuals must be able to access information about how the data is being collected and used. Because the integration of AI-based surveillance systems has undoubtedly brought significant advantages to the law enforcement. So the law must be good because of the brought the advancement law enforcement is there, security agencies there to just protect the data like that. However, it is crucial to acknowledge the system potential risk to our fundamental rights and freedoms. So the lack of transparency and potential for discrimination is not just some of the concerns, but must be addressed by the regulatory body to ensure the protection of individual privacy as well as civil liability. So everyone has required the same thing like that. So the protection against privacy. If you received some message from from any link like that, if you click the link, automatically your money is detected. So we don't know what would happen through the AI technology because we have just suffered some lots of problems through the privacy and they take the data and they use the data from wrong way. So individually persons are struggle because of the society also struggle. The economic problems also arise because someone has lose the job because of the AI technology. They just replace AI technology instead of the human. So it is all happened from the AI. So they just a protection against the privacy mean the right and freedom is very important for the individual person like that. So they just address the regulatory bodies, they just making some protection of the privacy and the civil liberties. So the privacy is a fundamental human right. So this technology has continued to advance. It is critical. So we have to prioritize privacy and ensure the individual rights are protected. This is very important because they have just prioritized the privacy and ensure the individual's rights are protected nowadays. For everyone is required the same thing like that. So the requires a multifaceted approach that involves the cooperation of government as well as organization and individual. The government should implement regulation to ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that respect the individual privacy and other ethical consideration because ethics is also important. So they are making some more when they're getting more benefit through the AI technology, through the voice assistant, through this they're making some they are getting some all the benefit like that. But almost they needed some privacy also, and there are the ethical considerations is very important. The benefit is there, but there is no more problem in that benefit. So organization has to prioritize the privacy as a core value and adopts a strong data protection policy. So they respect the individual privacies also. So finally, individuals should be empowered with the transparency and control over the personal data. So the prioritizing the privacy and adopting strong data protection policies is required for that. So we can help ensure that AI technology is developed and used in a way that is both effective and privacy respecting, ultimately leading to the future individuals can benefit from the transformative power of AI without sacrificing the fundamental right to privacy. So that's all from that. From the privacy is very important from the nowadays for key issues as well as for the AI, and production is also important. So, however, the production uh, whatever production is there from the AI as well as using privacy is there, and also there is government should take some actions to avoid some illegal activities like that, for the criminal activities like that, to find the wrong person through the facial recognition technology. So they all just avoid that. So adopt a strong data protection policies, and also health technology is developed used in a way to effective and privacy respecting. So ultimately leading to the future where individuals can benefit from the transformative power of AI without sacrificing the fundamental right. So the right to seek in what information they collected, I mean they have everyone has right to know about what information they have collected. So they just fear about that what would happen in the future. So how they will get out from the problem in the future. Okay. So nowadays the AI technology is nowadays is implemented for everywhere in that. For example, Tesla they implemented like a car, the voice assistant is there. Okay. They open. They just simply order that they open. Just open the door. Means they just automatically the car is opened that door. Uh, so it's all like that. That the improvement is there. So many app is there. They are Paytm like that. Some Amazon is like that. They have collected so much of data from the customer. This is we can't just able to stop that things like that. But we can analyze. So the government is also what that. Okay, how much data they are collected is safe for everyone, particularly women. Okay, they collected data, so their main is the data is safe or not. Nowadays they just think about that. So the government has to plan some implement some regulations to ensure that. So AI is developed and used in a way respect individual privacy is also important. And production policy is almost very much important is nowadays, because in nowadays there was many more app is coming, many more app is there. For recording that AI technology is they're making some identified that so whoever making production means because the production is needed for individual person like that. So they can't think about that. The record is used for some other purpose like that. So that's what everyone is expected nowadays. The human right is very important nowadays. Okay. So the government is also making some the plan for that. They just make some arrangement for the idea for that. The transparency is also important from the personal data, as well as they can understand the real value for the human rights. The human right is also important, and also they are not fearing about something wrong happen in the future. So they can just identify that what is the error happen in the records or personal record. They checking that the facial recognition is the app. So their company is company is making some record for the employee before recruiting a candidate. So what is the record they are taking like that? That is not against for the candidate because of religion wise. We all know about the religion wise. Okay, religion wise, gender wise. They have to collected the data. Again, the person has to collect the previous company information that is needed for the changes in the economy. They have to survey in the country. They want to survey in the country. There is no chance. There is no way for that. So the government has involved from the involved some production policies like that. They ensure that every organization they have policy. They just have, according to the policy they protect the individual data. That is all from needed from the topic like that. So the individuals can get benefit from the transformative power of AI and sacrifices the fundamental right to privacy, because in every individual they have basic right is there. So how they are making, how they are living the life in the Indian, actually Indian people, Indian country peoples are there. So for example, they found the wrong person through the facial recognition app. What would happen to the entire person life? Okay, they are identified the criminal instead of the wrong person because using the fake recognition. They only believing the AI technology is being better, but after that they identified the person is not a culprit. So the entire person life is has been almost washed out. So that is a reason for that. So that is a major reason for that. So the privacy is also important, and also they have to protect the person right, and also protect the person life also. That is also important. So they have been going anywhere. They can enjoy the customer. They can go and shop. They can do online anything like that. So nobody can involve that. What we are going to search, nobody can identify. That is also important. But nowadays in marketing technique like that, they all the e-commerce retailers as well as they're using that pop-up notifications is very simple. They collected the data. They're using their mobile phone. They just simply Google it for everything, anything like that. They can easily analyze what they are going to search. So they can also use a pop-up notification like Amazon, Flipkart like that. They can identify what is needed for the customer. It's also better doing the marketing purpose. That is also they have just safeguard for the customer purpose also. So that is a way they can identify what is the customer requirement as well as what is the privacy is also respecting is also important. In future, how they can make in the how can they can making the record as a privacy basis organization, they have to maintain the policy. Government is also must implement the regulations like that. So the AI is developed nowadays. That is not against the person. For example, replacing the human. That is not like that. Okay, they cannot able to replace the uh, human for a job because for a company or anything. For example, at the time of COVID, they used some robo in hotel. That is not like that because someone is looking. That is the only period they used it. After that, what would happen? They just lost the life of the job for the human being because everyone needed job. In nowadays, they use the AI is also watching the reading the needs like that. And there are in some other country, they are appointed some AI for teachers also implemented. But it is not like a human because student has needed some discipline or anything. It is not happen from the AI technology like that because nowadays discipline is very important. They have to maintain as a teacher, the professors, we know about what is it needed for the student and what we are going to give it for that. So someone see every country they adapted some technology like that. But technology is important as well as they just think about the people's benefit as well as production also. So it is also very effective, very important for that. Effective AI technology is also effective like that, but in such a way they're using only for the development in for the entire society like that. The society want to make a development like that. That is not against for the people, against for the growth for the country like that. For a is is not against for the society itself. So they are not doing something wrong to the society onwards itself. So they've been very well understanding about that, what they are needed from that AI technology, they can use it for the people. So that's what people have expected. Something benefit is there. The benefit only they are getting, but they just fear about what data they have collected, how we are serving in the life in the remaining life. For example, after that they have collected data. I mean, what they are going to do? They are all fear. Everyone is fearing. So in nowadays, so the everyone has take some severe action against that, so they can identify and understand what is the value for the AI technology. The individual privacy is also important and ethical consideration, the benefit to the people as well as in ethics, professional ethics. Ethics is very important. So ethics means they just make it some understanding the people honesty and well as they could not able to make it something wrong to the people work like that. So people work as well as people life or personal life also. So everyone has nowadays expected development in technology is also important nowadays, but it will not affect the human being as well as the entire economic growth like that. So that's all from the myself. So the AI technologies nowadays they're using from that effective as well as effective way technologies like that. So they have given sacrifice. They cannot able to without sacrificing the fundamental right to the privacy. This is also very important. That's all I just made it for the conclusion like that. Apart from anything, just make it questions to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Hi.
your valuable session. Participants, any queries, any questions? Participants, you can also post the questions in chat box.
Uh, Actually, one candidate asking question about the WhatsApp, sir. In many apps, now they invoke the AI technology. Even in WhatsApp, how come would data be secure in this case? Actually, this is only the WhatsApp. This is how it must to use. This is very important nowadays. Once again, WhatsApp actually they make it some encryption data like that. They make
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Your voice is not audible.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Sir, is it
Yes.
audible, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, it's not audible, please.
How is
Hello.
audible, ma'am?
Audible.
I'm audible, sir.
Yes. Some network issue. Some network issues. Yes.
Sir, it's not audible.
Now
Hello.
audible, ma'am?
Hello.
Now
Audible.
Yes,
audible,
sir.
ma'am?
Audible, sir. Audible, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sir,
Yes, sir. Any questions, sir?
participants, any questions?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
your wonderful session, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So, dear participants, so the first session is over. The second session will be taken over by Zainab Zarina. First, we'll have a short intro about Zainab Zarina, ma'am. She was currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Management Studies, Savita Engineering College, Chennai. Also, Zainab Zarina has completed her undergraduation in BA in English Literature in Manonmaniam Sundarnar University, Tirunelveli. Also, added to her advantage, she has completed her Master of Business Administration in HR Management and Marketing Management in KSR College of Engineering, which is affiliated to Anna University, Tamil Nadu. She has also completed her PhD in Management Studies in BS Abdur Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology in Chennai. She has a rich academic experience of nearly 10 years. She has more research publications in various essay and Scopus Index journals. She has also conducted many international workshops, conference for the welfare of both students and faculties. Her area of interest revolves around AI-powered tools in HRM, organizational culture and change management, HR analytics and evidence-based practice, marketing management, entrepreneurship development. In today's session, she will be handling the overview of privacy laws and best practices for protecting the sensitivity data. I welcome you, ma'am. The session is yours. You can take over the session. Zarina, ma'am.
Sir, Zarina ma'am is joining the session. I am guessing that she is currently having some network issue. Please, we can wait 2 to 3 minutes as she is joining the session and preparing for her script, her presentation.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Dear participants, Zarina ma'am has joined the meeting and will start her presentation in just 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. Good evening to all. I did not expect that. Is my voice audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Your voice
Yes,
is
ma'am, you
audible.
are.
Okay, but I never expected that the session one will get over this much earlier, and so delay in joining. Whether can you be able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Your screen is visible.
Okay.
You can start over the session, ma'am.
Okay, very good morning to all. I'm Jainab Zarina, Assistant Professor from Savita, belonging to Department of Management Studies from Savita Engineering College. The topic for my today's discussion is Overview of Privacy Laws, GDPR, CCPA, and Best Practices for Protecting Sensitive Data. I have chosen this topic because in present digitalized world, we share so many sensitive and privacy data online. And this privacy laws enables businesses to understand on what way the customer data has to be secured and protected. In the same way, it also enables individuals to understand about the evolving regulations and data privacy and protection rights. With this viewpoint, let me continue with the slide. As we all know, so what is data privacy? You can post your comments in the chat box. What is data privacy? Data privacy, protection of personal information. Is my voice audible to you all? Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Okay, fine. So data privacy is protection of our personal information, that is called as data privacy. And the importance of data privacy can be understood with three main perspectives. One is individual perspective. So individual perspective, personal autonomy. Personal autonomy means controlling the personal information. In social media, we all have social media accounts. While we log into social media account, it will be asking for some privacy notification. It will give some privacy recommendations. No, we will decide whom to share the post, what to be shared, what to be shown in your profile. So all those things we'll restrict our location. By restricting our location, then limiting our data, then enabling only the people who wish to see our data. So through all these things, we protect our personal information, right? So that is called as personal autonomy. And while downloading a few apps, we'll get some recommendations asking like, we'll get some notification asking like whether the app can download, can view your gallery or video, or the devices or the file stored in your device. So all those details, it will be asked by the app. So it is up to us whether to accept it or not. If we ignore it, then it is a way of controlling our personal information. Then second is identity protection. So identity protection is to safeguard threats and fraudulent activities. So we are all assume that we all purchase online, no? So assume, let us assume one online shopper and he use a credit card for purchasing the things most often. So what happens is he is seeing some unusual transaction through his credit card. And this online shopper, he has strong password and he also has two-factor authentication, because of which when this unusual transaction take place in the credit card, immediately the credit card bank, they are communicating, they are sending instant notification to the online shopper. Okay, so credit card bank is sending immediate notification to the online shopper. It is because he has used a strong password and he has also used two-factor authentication, right? So this way we can be able to protect all our in this way we can protect our identity, right? So this way we can protect. So that is what is identity protection. And we can also have cloud-based password protection, cloud storage password protected one we can use. So by using all these things, we can be able to protect our own identity, right? The next one is security. So security means our preventing our sensitive information. So preventing our sensitive information, we are all remote workers. We work with laptops. So all the sensitive files, we have to keep encryption for, we have to maintain encryption for sensitive files, right? So if we are maintaining encryption, if our laptop is stolen, then this encryption, it will not allow the thief to see our browsing history. No, it will not. Then we can also use a virtual private network, VPN, through which all our browsing history will be hidden and protected from the thief. No, if in case our smartphone or iPhone or laptop, if it is getting stolen, we can be able to prevent our sensitive information through this VPN, virtual private network, by having encryption for maintaining sensitive files. In doing so, we can prevent all these things. Then talking about dignity. So dignity is maintaining privacy and confidentiality. So that is called as dignity. In hospitals, they'll be maintaining the medical records of the patients. So whatever the medical records that are maintained, that is confidential. It will not be exposed somewhere else to third party without the consent. With the consent of patient, the details can be revealed to the others, but without the consent of the patient, the medical history will not be revealed to the others. No? So that is called as dignity. So all these things comes under individual perspective. Considering organizational perspective, in organizational perspective, first one, we have trust and reputation. So data privacy, it builds trust and reputation. We would have come across, this is the famous incident. It happened to Yahoo in the year 2013. How many of you are aware of that incident that happened to Yahoo regarding the trust and reputation? My dears, dear participants, you can text your messages in the chat box. If you are aware of it, yes or no. If you type no also, I'll start explaining. No problem. Someone has texted something. Okay, no ma'am. Deepika. Okay, thank you Deepika for your message. In 2013, what happened? Yahoo, they failed to implement robust security services, because of which in 2013, all the users' password and email address was leaked. So leaking of data is called as data breach. No, so all the data were leaked. And in 2014, what happened? Some privacy questions we would have answered while creating a Yahoo account. No, that was also leaked. And so because of which Yahoo lost its reputation during 2013 and 14. What the problem they identified is it is due to vulnerability because of some app settings, because of some unauthorized access in the settings in their Yahoo site. It happened. So that was found by them. And then they implemented a robust security services. All right. So that is what is so after that, see how once if the data breach happens, if the personal data, whichever we provide, if it gets leaked, it spoils the trust and reputation of customers. On the contrary, in iPhone, all the iMessages are end-to-end encryption. No, and iPhone users, they also have control over control over their data sharing options. So one time if they are giving no means, immediately by mistake, iPhone users by mistake, if they are giving no for some app recommendation, and after few minutes, if they try giving yes also, it will not get opened. So like that, so after few minutes, in few minutes, it will not get opened. So that much service, it is offered by iPhone. So like this, providing data privacy services, robust security services, the brand will maintain trust, customer trust and loyalty, right? So data privacy builds customer trust and loyalty. Coming to the next, compliance. So compliance means meeting all the legal requirements. So that is called as compliance. So all the multinational organizations you take, they work in accordance with GDPR, which we'll be discussing in the coming slides. So Google, Microsoft, right? GDPR, they complies with GDPR, privacy law. Google, Microsoft, Twitter, Instagram, right? FB, Facebook, Meta, and the Microsoft, this Zoom platform, how we all get connected. So this also through Zoom platform also it complies with the GDPR privacy laws, right? So that is what. So that is what is compliance is meeting all the legal requirements as per the government standards. Then next is risk management. Risk management is managing the data breach and cyber attacks. That is called as risk management. And the Microsoft recently, they have invested huge in providing, they have made huge investment in security services system. And talking about the risk management in WhatsApp in 2021, what happened, they were asking to us that all the data whichever we give that will be shared to the parent company, Facebook. So that was told by WhatsApp in the year 2021. And they were also January 2021, WhatsApp told the users that all the user information like contact number, device information, then email address, all location, all those details will be shared to the parent company, Facebook. They told in January 2021. And in February 8, they said, in February 8, they said like, if we are not accepting to that privacy regulations, then we may misusing that we cannot able to access that app, it was told, right? So because of which so many global concerns arise. Then they, in 2021 May, they declared, first in January, they told that, then in May 2021, after so many global concerns and issues, they changed their policy. They told that it is all full end-to-end encryption services, they said. So that is how, if something is being introduced regarding the data breach, it will be very hard for the public to accept it. So every company, they should be very responsive in managing risk, right? So managing risk means managing data breach, and cyber attacks. Then competitive advantage. So competitive advantage means commitment to data protection, right? So that is called as competitive advantage. So all the organizations, they are committed to us. They, at the time of giving our personal detail itself, it will it will be in terms and conditions. It will be written that whatever the data we give, that will be used, that will be secured, private, and it is used, and it will be very confidential. So all those things will be given, and in acknowledgement also we'll sign. All the data that I provide is true to the best of my knowledge, like that we'll sign and do it, no? So that is called as competitive advantage. So competitive advantage means firm getting committed to the customers, making them to believe that whatever the data they provide, that will be very private and confidential, right? Then talking about a societal perspective, under the societal perspective, first one is national security. So national security, every government, they are having national security agencies to prevent for data privacy, right? And in US, there is US National Security Agency. In India, we have cyber attack national security services, right? Cyber National Security Services is there in India. And the Cyber National Security Services, their primary job is to maintain data privacy. The next one is economic stability. So economic stability is that whatever the data that we provide, that should be used for the specified purpose. That is called as economic stability. Then social cohesion. Social cohesion means if a brand is getting information from the customers, it should not breach the data. It should not leak the data. It should not sell the data to some third party or advertisers. So that is called as social cohesion. Then democratic values. So democratic values, our India is a shining example of democratic country. For with regard to data privacy, there are various rights and freedom that is given for Indian citizens. In case if the data is breached, we have got full right for compensation. We have full right to lodge complaint against the brand. So all those privileges it is provided to Indian citizens. So that comes under democratic values. So data privacy, it is viewed from these three perspectives. While discussing about the importance, these three perspectives are considered. Excuse me, I cannot change the slide. Next one is data privacy issues. So before discussing about the data privacy law, let me discuss about some interesting data privacy issues that happened. Already I told you this issue while discussing in organizational perspective. I told that 2021 WhatsApp privacy policy update controversy I discussed, right? Then coming to LinkedIn's data breach 2016. In LinkedIn, what happened? All the users' email ID and password was leaked in the year 2012 itself. It was hacked, okay? And this happened because of vulnerability. It was not known till 2016. People were unaware of it. Then later in 2016, they found that all the data, around some 100 million people data was breached, was leaked, right? So with the email address and password, everything was leaked. And in 2016 only we get to know about it, but it happened in 2012 itself. Then after initially this LinkedIn it denied, then through that proof and everything, it acknowledged itself that this happened because of some vulnerability in app. Then they gave mandatory regulation for the users to reset their password. The users were mandatorily asked to reset the password. So that is what that is what is all about LinkedIn's data breach 2016. Then next is Amazon's Alexa data collection 2019 controversy. So what happened? We all know Alexa, right? So Alexa, what it did, it started recording so many indefinitely. It started storing voice recordings, right? So voice recordings, because of which it resulted in the misuse of personal data. Even personally, if we talk at home, it also got recorded in Alexa, because of which so many personal data were misused. And legal issue that globally occurred was that this Alexa, this Alexa is Alexa was asked to give explanation of how this kind of voice recordings happen indefinitely. They did not have some definite policy for that. They did not have some definite data retention policy. They themselves were not cleared about their data retention policy. And because of that, after this 2019 controversy, Alexa, they had some option of out of human occurrence, some option they give. Then delete the option, just I said. So all those options were added after 2019 controversy. Nowadays, it has proposed security measures. Initially in 2019, when it was launched, all those kind of problems occurred. So whatever we speak at home, the human language, everything it recorded. But now there is an option for all those, and whatever should be recorded, that alone is recorded now. But initially that controversy happened, because of which the personal data were misused. Then coming to Aadhaar data breach in 2018. So Aadhaar, we give all our personal details, no? Because of the vulnerability of some government websites. What happened, all the data of the user's name, address, then Aadhaar 12-digit number, email address. So all those things, I'm sorry, address, not email address, name, address, phone number, Aadhaar, that 12-digit number, everything was leaked. And it was found, it was online, all those details were online. So that is a breach of data, no? So initially, our government did not accept it. They denied that the data has not been breached, but later they acknowledged because of vulnerability it happened, and they invested on some security services, and now the data is all protected. Next, talking about Reliance Jio data breach 2017. So Reliance Jio subscribers, all their mobile numbers with the name were displayed online in internet. In 2017, if it is a Jio subscriber, in Google search, if we just put their name with phone number, it came, right? So because of which data privacy issue occurred in Reliance Jio data breach. And the same like Aadhaar case, this Reliance Jio also initially they denied that data breach, and later on they acknowledged it, and now they offer security services wherein all the data are encrypted now. And final is Zomato data breach 2017. So in Zomato data breach, what happened? All the financial informations were leaked. All the financial information of users were leaked. Their name, mobile number, and payment mode they would have used. No? That payment, either UPI or credit card or debit card, whatever the payment it is, that security code and passwords, all those stuff were leaked. So immediately it was brought to the notice, and these people, they immediately adopted the security measures and they overcome the situation. So the privacy issues, whichever we have discussed so far, all those are reputable brands. No? Even the technology is this much developed. We are living in a digitalized world. Though we live in a digitalized world, the data breaches happen. The data, whichever we give as private, it is leaked because of vulnerability. The issue comes as it is done technically, right? So with this in mind, data privacy issues, we'll discuss about the privacy laws. Now we realize how these privacy laws are very important in protecting our privacy data. Talking about privacy laws, it is also known as data protection laws. The main objective of the privacy laws, the name itself tells, it is a data to protect and prevent our data. These privacy laws are used. And these here you could see the key objectives of privacy laws. The main objective is to protect personal information. So personal information means all the details which we give about us. Regulate data collection. Regulate data collection means why the data is collected by the company, for what purpose it will be used. That should definitely be revealed or disclosed by the company, right? By the organization. Third is ensure transparency. So transparency is here making the customers to be aware of what data will be used for their own purpose, right? If I'm collecting data for marketing research, I should make the people to be aware that the data whichever collected will be used for the academic research purpose, right? And if let us assume that a car service company, they want to know about, they want to get feedback from the customers, right? So the data whichever they collect, it should be relevant to the car service, and it should be explained to the customers for improvement of service. They collect data. So that is called as transparency, ensuring transparency. The next is provide individual rights. So individual has the full right to ask why the data has been asked, why to give the data. So what my data will be used for. So all those rights we have to ask if someone asks about privacy, if someone asks us personal data. The next is hold organizations accountable. So holds organizations accountable is here, if the data is breached, then the organization is fully accountable for it, right? So organization is fully accountable for the data breach. So organization is fully accountable for the data breach. And it should, if more sensitive data are leaked, then they have to pay penalty or fine, or they should pay compensation for the affected party. So notable privacy laws. And these are the two notable privacy laws. First one is General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR. GDPR, it is an European Union's comprehensive data protection law, which means it is applicable to European Union members or countries. And second one is California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA. So it protects the privacy of consumers in California, right? So it is a US first level data privacy law. So let us discuss about this privacy laws in detail. So let me let me discuss about history and scope of GDPR. So history, with regard to the history, it was proposed in 2019 and it came into effect in May 25, 2018. And the main objective of GDPR is to protect the data of individuals, right? So that is the main objective. And here the individuals also have rights if their data are misused by some companies. So for this, it helps the businesses to understand how the data has to be protected and supported, right? It is applicable only to you. It is applicable only to European Union member states. Okay, so this is all about European GDPR. And this GDPR is applicable to those companies who process data of European Union residents, right? Or the businesses that operate in European Union, or any business that deal with the data of European Union residents or citizens. So this GDPR is applicable only to European Union member countries. And these are all the key principles of GDPR. First thing, talking about transparency, I already explained it. So that for what the data is collected, that has to be very transparent. Then next is law. If e-commerce platform is collecting data from the customer, means the customer should be no, they should bring to the knowledge of the customer that for improving the e-commerce platform, the feedback has been collected. So that is called as data, that is called as transparency. Then second one is lawfulness. So whatever the act that is done, it should be lawful, only ethical principles to be followed. And getting the privacy data, we should not share it to any other third-party advertisers. That is more important. That is called as lawfulness. And in the upcoming slides, we have various cases of lawfulness. So how far the data is breached, that we'll discuss in the upcoming slides. Then talking about purpose limitation, what is the specified purpose of collecting data that has to be given? Right? What is the, if I'm a patient, let us assume that a patient, from patient only the medical history will be collected. No, only the data relevant to the medical history will be collected. So that is called as purpose limitation. Every data has its own purpose. Data minimization, unnecessary data should not be collected. Okay. So if we are collecting data, if a hospital is collecting data from the customers, they should have only the medical records. They should not be bothered about their income level and all the other statuses. Okay. So that is called as data minimization. Accuracy. So providing accurate information. Let us assume that one retailer is maintaining all the customers, its customers' address. Okay, he checks for the accuracy. If there is any change in address, he is then and there making the changes and maintaining every records accurately. That is called as accuracy, maintaining the accurate records. Then talking about storage limitation. For data, we cannot have the data for a long time. Okay, there is some duration to maintain records. Say, let us, for instance, let us take the financial institutions. These financial institutions, they'll be having our financial records for 7 years. Okay, they'll be having it for 7 years. And after 7 years, they'll be recording it very securely, in a very safe manner. They will delete all the data without causing breach. So that is called a storage limitation. Talking about security, using robust security services. Robust security services means ensuring that the data is no way leaked. Accountability, yes. So every organization, they are accountable for maintaining the records. If any breaches happen, they are so responsible for it. And as per this GDPR, one data protection officer should be appointed. So whichever the firms, European Union firms, if they comply with GDPR, as I discussed in the first slide, Google, Microsoft, Twitter, Facebook, Meta, our Zoom platform, how we interact with one another. Now we are interacting, no? So all Zoom platform, all these things, they comply with GDPR. They follow the legal legal requirements and regulations of GDPR. So as per this GDPR, all the firms, they are having data protection officer. And this data protection officer, they will ensure that everything is happening as per the legal requirements. Okay. Then next is data privacy by design and default. Data privacy by design and default means here incorporating design in the product itself. Say, for example, you take any mobile manufacturing company, the privacy options will be inbuilt in the mobile itself. It will ask whether to disclose this information or not, this or that, like that. No. So based on the settings, whichever we give, our data will be visible to the others. Say, for example, simple, let us take WhatsApp. If we want to hide our DP to view, we can hide. No. So all these settings we do. So the product itself has given the settings for us to do as we wish. In Facebook, to whom we wish to share our post, it will be shared only to those people, not for others. No. So that is called as data protection by design and default. And for licensed software also, so IBM is having so many licensed software. And for those licensed software, there will be some inbuilt, there will be some password. So the systems whichever are inbuilt with that software, they can only have access for that software. Not all the systems can have access towards it. Okay. So that is called as data protection by design and default. And next is data subject rights. So data subject rights means the rights of an individual whose data are processed, right? So I'm just assuming that one person is opening a bank account. For bank account, they will give all the information, their personal information, everything will be given by the person who is intend to open the bank account. So the person who is giving the data, right, to any of the organization or financial institution, they are called as data subject. And this data subject rights means what rights do these people have to give the data, to give their personal data, what rights they have. If we talk about it, they have full rights of addition, deletion, rectification, right? They also have the right to compensate. They also have the right to book a case or complaint if there is a data breach. So that is called as data subject breach. Addition, deletion in the sense, if I want to delete my social media account, okay? If I want to delete my social media account, I have an option for deleting my account. So that is called as data subject rights. If I want to delete, I can delete. If I want to make some modifications in my account, I can modify, right? So that is called as data subject rights. So these are all the key principles of GDPR. The next one is GDPR compliance requirements. So GDPR compliance requirements. What are all the requirements? So first we shall discuss in organizational perspective. In organizational perspective, five are the most important requirements that every company should follow. First one is they should designate a DPO. Okay. So DPO is data protection officer. So data protection officer, they should appoint and establish a data protection team. DPT is data protection team. Then conduct regular data protection impact assessments. So data protection impact assessments means it is a periodic meeting wherein they will discuss whether the organization complies with GDPR regulations. Okay. So that is called as conduct regular DPIAs. Then maintain records. So maintain records. So whatever they comply in, whatever the rules they adhere with GDPR, it has to be recorded, filed, and documented. Okay. Then next is implement data protection policies and procedures. So whatever is being told by GDPR, it has to be followed, right? It has to be followed and practically implemented by the organization who complies with GDPR. So all these things comes under organizational requirements. Then data subject rights, second one. So data subject rights, we already discussed in the previous slide, no? So what are all the last point we discussed in the key principles of GDPR? Data subject rights. So data subject is the person who gives personal data. So what rights do they have? This we discussed already. Then third one is penalties for non-compliance. Penalties for non-compliance means if they fail to adhere to the legal requirements on what way they are imposed personality. So they'll be penalized up to 20 million euro or 4% of global turnover. Okay. Then legal action will be taken against them who do not comply with GDPR. So these all these things comes under GDPR compliance requirements. The next one is GDPR issues. So we were discussing about the private data privacy laws. Now we shall discuss some interesting GDPR issues that happened earlier. First one is Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal 2018. How many of you are aware of it? So how many of you are aware of this thing? Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal 2018. So Cambridge Analytica is a political consulting firm. In 2018, all the Facebook over 87 million users data was hacked by this Cambridge Analytica political consulting firm. And this hacking was not done in 2018. In 2015 itself, it was done. And in 2016, for promotional ads, in US presidential election took place in 2016. And for promoting the US election, elections, they used the privacy data of the user of Facebook users, right? And it was known in 2018 that over 87 million users' data was hacked by Cambridge Analytica. Okay, it was known in 2018. And for that, GDPR fine of about 1.2 billion euro was collected from Facebook for their data breach, right? As their access, as it is not authorized properly, this kind of breach has happened, because of which Facebook was asked to pay the fine amount of 1.2 billion euro. Then second is British Airways data breach 2018. So British Airways, whoever booked the data, whoever booked the air tickets through British Airways, through that website or by using mobile app, whoever booked the tickets, air tickets, all their financial informations were leaked, right? Their bank account number, their password. So all this is very sensitive information, no? So all the financial information was leaked. So what happened that time in 2018? British Airways was asked to give the explanation for why it happened. So it resulted in a global concern because of, and this British Airways, they declared that once again, it happened because of vulnerability of British Airways mobile app and website. And because of this, around 380,000 customers' payment details were breached, were leaked. And they were asked to pay GDPR fine of 183 million pounds, which is approximately 206 euro million. So this is what is all about British Airways data breach 2018. The next is WhatsApp GDPR fine 2021. We were discussing, no? So in WhatsApp in 2021, they introduced one privacy policy that all the data of the WhatsApp users will be shared to the parent company Facebook. So many of us did not agree. The world itself did not agree. Because of that, European Union, Turkey, so many concerns, so many issues were raised. And later on, WhatsApp, they changed their data privacy policies. And whatever the services now it is offered by WhatsApp, it is all full end-to-end encryption. for their data, as there is no transparency in the data protection policy, they were charged a fine amount of 225 euro million, right? So that is what is all about WhatsApp GDPR fine. Then next is Google GDPR fine 2019. So Google GDPR fine, what it happened in 2009, in Google engine, we would have searched for something, no? So based on our search at this Google, it will automatically record whatever we are searching for, that we all know. But this search engine, what it did, assume that you have searched for something through the Google engine, and later on, while you are browsing something in the internet, you are all of a sudden getting some pop-up advertisements which you were searching for recently in the Google engine, search engine. You just imagine, see, with the consent of user, they can provide targeted ads, but they did not get any consent from the users. Just the Google was asked how, see, if I'm using internet, what I searched in the search engine, relevant to that, some ads were, that ads were popped up in the screen, not for all. It is based on the user preferences. The ads were popped out during 2019, and it was brought to the notice of public, and Google was questioned how, on what basis this target ads were displayed, pop-up ads were displayed for different customers based on their requirement, how they got to know about the requirement of customers, how these targeted ads were displayed in pop-ups. So all these were questioned to the Google, but Google was not clear in their explanation. They did not explain clearly of how they used, on what way they used the customer's data, right? They did not give clear explanation. Without the user content, just like that, they displayed pop-up advertisements for different users based on their own requirement. Okay, if I would have searched for some electronic product, means that pop-up electronic ad, which brand I searched for, that was that came as a pop-up advertisement in my screen. You may be searched in your browsing setting, you would have searched for something, that pop-up ad will come, that pop-up ad appeared in that person's screen. So because of which Google was not clear in giving explanation how this target ads were displayed to the people, how the users' data were processed, all those things, Google did not answer it properly, because of which they were charged 15 million euro. So all these companies, whichever we discussed, Facebook, British Airways, WhatsApp, Google, so all these things, they comply with GDPR issues. Okay, they work in accordance with GDPR legal requirements, because of which they were charged a fine amount of this much million euros because of data breach, because of not maintaining the records of the users. Okay. Then next is, so this is all is about GDPR. Hope we are all clear about GDPR. Then next, coming to CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act. So it prioritizes only the consumers from California, right? It has given full rights and freedom to the California consumers. And this law was passed in the CCPA was passed in the year 2018 and was brought to effective in January 1, 2020, right? And this CCPA, it is applicable only for profit businesses, which is having annual gross revenue over $25 million. And those companies that are handling with 50,000 plus California residents, and those companies who generate revenue through selling of personal data. See, this CCPA, it also sells privacy customer data only based on the consent of the customers. If I'm giving my privacy data, if I'm asking the retailer to sell my data, means they will sell it. But this option we did not have in the previous GDPR, we did not have that option, right? Whereas in CCPA, they can sell the personal data whichever they collected from the customers, and because of which they also generated the revenue of 50% plus. Okay. So in the last bullet point, if you see, you will get to know. So this CCPA, it is applicable for those profit businesses which fall under any of these three categories: gross revenue of over $25 million, or handling the data of 50,000 plus California residents, or 50% revenue generating through selling personal data. So only for these kind of businesses, the CCPA Act is applicable. And the main objective of the Act is to protect the rights of the consumers from California, consumers in California. Then rights of CCPA, rights of customers. So CCPA, under CCPA Act, what rights do the customers have? So these are all the 6 rights the customers have. First one is right to know. If the customers are asked about certain information or personal data, they have full right to question why the data is asked. Second is right to delete, right? So that is what is right to delete. If some deletion is required by the customer, then they may ask the organization to delete it. Third is right to opt out. Opt out means here the customer will mention not to sell their personal data. That is called as do not sell, opt out. Okay. If this is not mentioned by, if opt-out option is not mentioned by the customer, means this CCPA, they will sell the personal data of the customers to some third-party advertisers, right? So that option is there for CCPA. So if we do not want the CCPA to use our personal information, we should opt out for it. We should opt out. We should bring to the knowledge that we are no more interested in sharing our personal data. Then next is right to non-discrimination. So all the customers has to be treated same, uniformly, equally by the California organizations. There should not be any partial treatment. Then right to non-profitability. So right to right to data portability. So right to data portability means I'm a California, just assume that a California resident is giving full personal data to some medical app. Okay. All the medical related information the person is giving to some medical app. And for fitness app, if the person wants to use the same medical app, he can give a requisition to the medical app asking for the information that he submitted for the medical app, right? The same data, whichever is used for the medical app, that can be on request be collected by the customer from the hospital, and the same information that can be used for the fitness app as well, right? So that is called as right to data portability. So all these options we do not have in India. If we use different apps, whatever the personal information it asks, we'll give 1,000 times. Also, if it is asking for personal data, we will text all the details, no? So whereas here it is not, that kind of option is there for them, for the California customers. So whatever the data they feed in for one app, the same data on request, they can get it from the manufacturer and they can use it for some other app. That option is there. The next is right to request correction. Right to request correction means, let us assume that one person's address is getting changed and the retailer has one address. So this customer will make the retailer to know about the changed address or changed phone number, right? So that is called as right to request correction, or there may be change in name, something like that, okay? So that is called as right to request correction. So all these rights are given to the California residents, right? So California consumers have all these rights under this CCPA privacy law. Then CCPA compliance requirements. So how legally the CCPA works. So first one is notify consumers. So if I'm a e-commerce platform, then I should notify customer what the data I have from my site, right? So that is called as notify consumers. My site means e-commerce. If an e-commerce platform is collecting the data from the customer, the e-commerce platform will have all the data visible to the customer. So that is called as notifying customers. Data subject rights. Data subject rights here, data subject rights or the consumer rights for California residents. Okay. And with talking about the rights, they have addition, deletion, rectification, compensation rights. These four things, the four rights they have. If there is any addition or deletion or rectification of data, they can do it. Or if there is any data breach, they can go for compensation or lodge a complaint. Then third one is data security and protection. So under the CCPA compliance, all the organizations, they are insistent in California, they are insisted to have robust, robust security services. So if they are implementing robust security services, this kind of these things will not, data breaches will not happen, right? Encryption, having firewalls, all those things, all those algorithms will prevent data breach. The next is data minimization and retention. Data minimization and retention is what the data is required that alone should be collected. Unnecessary data need not be, unnecessary data should not be collected from the customers. That is called as data minimization and retention. Then next one is record keeping and audits. So record keeping and audits means all the data that is collected that has to be documented and it should also be periodically verified. Okay. The next is training and personnel. And in training and personnel, here they'll designate a CCPA compliant contact person. Every organization, every business which are all profit making, they will have, we were discussing more in the first slide, revenue of this much money like that. So who all fall under that, any of the three categories, they will have a CCPA compliant contact person. If there is any issue, then they can contact the CCPA compliant person. And the CCPA compliant person should be very updated about the regulations that is being updated or upgraded by CCPA, and he should train the other personnel, other manpower or employees in the workplace regarding the CCPA compliance. The next one is consequences of non-compliance. Non-compliance means if we are not following the regulations of CCPA, if we go against legally, if we do not do legally, if we go against CCPA, we are not following the legal rules means it results in non-compliance. So under non-compliance, what is the fine is $7,500 per violation. If a organization is not complying with the, not following the legal rules of CCPA means fine amount of $7,500 for violation will be charged. Then private right for action for data breaches. If personally, if without consent, if the data is shared, once again, my battery is low, I will correct with that battery and come back, please. I'll sorry for the interruption. Actually, the mobile, my laptop data got drained. And these are the consequences of non-compliance. Okay, private right of action. If the data breaches happen, then as a private party, we can book a case. The next is reputation damage. So reputation damage, if a company is not working with the legal regulations of CCPA, it is a reputation damage for them. So all these things comes under CCPA compliance and non-compliance. Let us make the comparison of GDPR and CCPA, but because these are the two privacy laws we were discussing as of now. And if we talk about the similarities, both the privacy laws, they focus on data protection and privacy. That is the number one. Number two is all the rights of data subjects are same for both the users, GDPR as well as CCPA. They have right to access information, deletion, rectification, all those things we were discussing, no? Deletion of information, rectification. So all those, the rights of data subjects are same. Data subjects are the individuals who give data. Then third is data security and breach notification requirements. That also same for both the thing. Penalty is charged for non-compliance. Fine is charged for GDPR with CCPA. They have penalty. They'll impose penalty. So these are the four similarities. And considering the differences, GDPR, it is only for European Union members, right? And those companies that process with the data of European Union or residents, European Union residents or citizens, they only they will only fall under this category, GDPR regulations. Okay. And here globally it has grown because European territory is very larger and globally it has grown. And they opt in consent for data processing, which means before giving the data, they will ask for the consent of the customers. That is called as opt-in consent for data processing. Before processing the data, before asking the data to the customers, they will ask about they'll ask consent to the customer for why the data will be used, and with the consent of the customer, the data can be shared. So that is called as opt-in consent for data processing. Then data protection officer, that is mandatory, no? So as per this GDPR, data protection officer should be designated, he should be appointed. Then fine amount is 20 million euro or 4% global revenue of organization. 4% of global revenue income should be given as a fine amount. And while considering the CCPA, it is a state level jurisdiction, which means it is applicable only to California residents, those businesses that work in a profit motive in California, they are eligible, they are only eligible. So it is called a state level jurisdiction. Then opt-out consent for data sales. Opt-out consent for data sales means here the data can be sold by the retailer or any business. They can sell the personal information. If the user do not want to sell the personal information, then they have to mention to the organization or corporate not to sell their personal information. Okay. So that is called as opt-out consent for data sales. Opt-out means customer preferring not to sell their data to any of the third-party advertisers. If the customers is not opting for opt-out, then obviously the data will be shared with the third-party advertisers. It is legally accepted as per the CCPA. Then no DPO requirement. DPO is data protection officer. No, in GDPR we have DPO, whereas in CCPA that is not required. And talking about fine amount, $7,500 for violating the rules. Okay, this is a fine amount. So fine amount that is fixed by the GDPR and CCPA is different. So these are all the differences between GDPR and CCPA. Then as of now, we were discussing about the importance of privacy laws, then privacy laws, GDPR and CCPA. Now we can discuss what are all the best practices for protecting sensitive data. So best practices for protecting sensitive data is first one is encryption. Encryption algorithms may be used by all the organization. If the encryption algorithms are used, then the data is highly confidential and secured one. Then access control. So multi-factor authentication and secured passwords can give access, give control only to one person, right? Assume that in a business, so many data will be maintained. Not all the employees will have the access to the data. The person who holds the authoritative position will only be responsible for, can only be able to access the data. He'll be given that privilege, no? One particular authority, one particular person who is an authoritative position. That is called as access control. Okay, accessing control only to few people, not for all. So this way also we can be able to protect sensitive data. Data minimization, we already discussed. So instead of having huge data, what is required by the company, that alone should be entered. Okay, so that is called as data minimization. Let us say, for example, one social media account is collecting data from its users. Only relevant to their own social media platform, the question should be asked. They should not make comparison. They should not compare themselves with the other social media apps, and they should not question the users. Doing that is not acceptable. It is violating the rule. Okay. So whatever the question that is posed to the customer should be related to the services that are offered by the organization. Data minimization, then secure storage. So secure storage, as we discussed, financial institutions and normally any organizations you take, they will have the data for 7 years. After that, they will delete the data very in a secured manner. They will delete the data of the customers. Okay, so that is called the secure storage. Regular backups. Daily backup the organizations can have, because of which they can monitor their own progress, and they can also be aware of their data protection policies by doing backup daily. Next is incident response. Incident response is, we were discussing about so many GDPR issues, no? This Facebook, WhatsApp, Google, all British Airways, all those things we were discussing. So in case if any vulnerability occurs, the organization should be prepared for answering to the government, should be prepared for answering to the global concerns raised by the people. So that is called as incident response. Next is employee training. Employee training, all the employees should be trained of how the data privacy is important, how well the data can be prevented, because we live in a digitalized era wherein we share so many informations online. So it is a mandatory for everyone to get educated regarding how safety we can work, how safety we can protect ourselves in giving the data to the others. The next is employee training, that is what? Then regular audits. So regular audits is verifying and ensuring that the data breach do not occur at any point of time. So these are all the best practices for protecting sensitive data. And coming to India, in India, what regulatory compliance we have for data privacy, we see that we have two compliances. One is Information Technology IT Act 2000, and another one is Information Technology Reasonable Security Practices and Procedures and Sensitive Personal Data or Information Rules 2011. So these are the two regulatory compliance in India for data privacy. In India also we do have acts. Okay. So this is what is that two legal regulations. And we always follow sector specific regulations. And with regard to financial institutions, we follow Reserve Bank of RBI guidelines, Reserve Bank of India guidelines. With regard to healthcare, we follow Ministry of Health and Family Welfare guidelines. With regard to telecommunications, we follow Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI guidelines. So we have separate guidelines wherein all the data privacy guidelines we follow, and the organizations does things. So we have specific domain specific, sector specific regulations for everything. Then talking about international compliance, we have GDPR, right? GDPR and EU-India data transfer agreements. So these are the international compliance. Then talking about Indian data protection authorities, central government and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MEITY. So these two are the authorities that hold data protection rights in India. So with this, I'm winding up the session. So we learned about the importance of data privacy in three perspectives: individual perspective, organizational perspective, and societal perspective. We were discussing about the data privacy issues in few companies, then data privacy laws, history and scope we were discussing. So GDPR, it is applicable only for European Union members, and CCPA, it is applicable only for California residents. CCPA, it prioritizes customers. GDPR, it makes businesses to be aware of how the data has to be protected. And both the things, if they do not comply, if the organizations do not comply with this GDPR and CCPA, they are penalty. They are imposed with penalty. Then GDPR issues also we were discussing. GDPR and CCPA comparison, compliance and non-compliance of privacy laws, best practices for protecting sensitive data, regulatory compliance in India for data privacy. So all these things, an overall picture, we were discussing about all these things. And if you have any doubt relevant to my lecture, you may post questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful session. Participants, any queries you can ask. You can also post in the chat box.
Is it my voice is not audible? All this time which I spoke, is it not audible? Just now I'm seeing the comment of a person. Was it not audible?
Audible, ma'am.
Fine. How about others? Because Bala has written in chat box, if the one's lost, then how is it possible to recover? What is that? I don't understand the question. I need some clarity in the question. If the one's lost, then how is it possible?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Bala Khanda.
Very
Actually,
good.
want
Bala,
yes.
you did not hear my voice or what? My voice
Hello,
is audible to you?
I'm audible, ma'am.
Asha, tell me, Bala, what is your question?
Ma'am, if the data is lost from the memory, then is it possible to recover that data from any other?
Can I come again? I don't hear you. Please, once again. Can you repeat the question? Bala, are you there? Or you can text in the chat box. If we lost our data, is there any way to recover? It was the question, ma'am. If we lost our data, see, we are discussing about the data privacy, and it is based on the app whichever you use. If the app is having some backup facility, then we may be able to get the data once if it is lost. If not, it is not possible. So that is the question I can answer. Is it clear, Bala? It is based on the app whichever you work. Whatever the personal information you feed in, if there is a backup, then you can be able to retrieve. If there is not a backup, then you will not be able to retrieve it. Right? In some
Yes.
apps, there will be an option, recently deleted files will be there. If that option is provided by the service provider, you can be able to retrieve the files. In mails also we have, no, if we delete the mail, it will go to the trash. Immediately it will not get deleted. It is an
Thank
option
you.
for us. If
Thank you, ma'am.
yeah, if in case if we have for deleting something else, if we have deleted or by mistake, if we have deleted something, it will be in trash. We can if we move, we have an option to put it in inbox again, no? So similarly, it is based upon the devices whichever we use. If that option, if backup option is not available, then we cannot be able to save the files. We cannot be able to restore the files, lost files.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Dear ma'am, session completes by 8:30 p.m. Yes, I know. Saran Kumar. Saran Kumar, is the session
Yes, ma'am.
useful for you? Because you
Yes,
are
ma'am. It's very
interested in
useful.
knowing the wind up time. So, okay, Bala, thank you. It was audible. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your knowledge sharing session.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, thanks to all. If any case, if any query, you can ask to.
Ma'am, please share your contact number in the chat box, please.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, please share your contact number.
Contact
Ma'am, he's
number.
asking your contact number or mail ID.
Yeah, I'll get back to the organizer. You please contact the person.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Dear
Thank you, sir.
participants, kindly fill the
I should thank the organizer, Amir Junaid Ahmad sir, and other coordinators for organizing this wonderful session. And I thank all of them for giving me the wonderful opportunity to talk in this topic. Actually, I belong to a management stream, getting information about this AI privacy laws and all those things, data privacy laws. It was really interesting learning all those things and getting some knowledge. And I thank our organizer and coordinators for providing me this opportunity. Thank you. Thanks to all. I thank the participants for their patience listening. I thank those participants who have spoken very positive in the chat box about me. Thanks to all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your valuable session. Dear participants, kindly post the attendance. The Google form has been shared in the chat box. Thank you all. Thank you. We can wind up today's session.